My name is LaPoy, writer and artist at Kontact Comics, an indie comic company I created to give home to characters that gave me the same escape comics did. And today, we'll be reviewing Hellstones. Now, I've been waiting for this one, man. Hellstones was created and written and colored by Frankie Walk, with pencils and inks by Saepul. Now, the way this will work is simple. I'll break down the comics and give my thoughts in a non-spoiler fashion while discussing the story's hooks. When I say hooks, I mean things that make the readers lean forward in their seats and want to know more. For example, Sinners by Ryan Coogler starring Michael B. Jordan already has recognizable names attached to it. But then you throw vampires into the mix and suddenly people want to know more. That's a hook. Hellstones has several of those hooks, so let's get into it. I thought this was a solid soft launch for the series. I'm just starting to understand and actually appreciate the purpose of issue zeros in comics. They give readers just enough to get invested without asking for a huge commitment. The story follows Sam as she works to complete a mission entrusted to her by her mentor before his disappearance. Locating powerful relics known as Hellstones. These stones were formed from the wings of Lucifer himself, and their power and influence has attracted the attention of powerful people throughout history, including Jesus. Sam has been gifted one of these stones, granting her abilities that I will leave for you to discover. The art is spot on for this type of story. It's detailed, it's atmospheric, and does a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to drawing you into the world. I also appreciate how short the issue was. It gets you through the door quickly and leaves you interested in seeing more. I kind of did the same thing with my first issue for Fusion. I made that issue 16 pages. Again, low commitment, and it allows you to get all the boring stuff out of the way so that first issue hits the ground running. Overall, I think it's a strong launch. It sets up issue 1 without having to spend future pages explaining a lot of backstory. My only real nitpick is that at first it was difficult to tell who the narrator was. We meet several characters before arriving at the main character, Sam, who I assumed was the narrator. It wasn't a major issue at all, but even small moments of confusion can pull readers out of the story. I initially wrote that I didn't even see where we learned Sam's name, and I was really tripping about it, like, hey, why am I just now learning it in issue 1?
Who are you?
However, after talking to the creator, he was able to point out exactly where I missed it. I love that so much. I appreciate that he was able to take feedback respectfully while also correcting me as the reviewer. It shows how important it is as a reader to keep an open mind about what you're reading. Storytelling is a collaboration between a lot of people, especially with comics, but most importantly, it's the collaboration between the writer and the audience. We may disagree on percentages, but I've always felt that it was close to 50-50. The writer must create a world that feels lived in, it feels dynamic, and is consistent with the story being told. However, the audience has to meet the story halfway by putting themselves in the right mindset to engage with it and to ingest it. The lore is there, the history is established, and it has the potential to be a fun, adventurous kind of mystery series. I hate making comparisons like this, but it feels like Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark had a baby with Tomb Raider, you know what I mean? And then that baby is this comic. What I think readers will appreciate is the character breakdowns and the designs included in issue 0 and the far back. It makes the project feel like a commitment from the creator. It's his own way of rewarding readers for giving the book a chance, I feel like. And in an indie, comic community, that goes a long way. Now we're going to jump straight into Hellstones issue 1, which Frankie was able to give me as well. He's got this Kickstarter that's starting, I believe, the 1st of July for Hellstones issue 1. So please go follow that project. Go back it the moment it hits the market, okay? Hellstones issue 1 hasn't come out yet, but again, Kickstarter's coming live in July. When you search for the project there, hit notify me on launch so that you don't miss any of the rewards that have the limited quantities, you know what I mean? So we're back with Sam as she continues her search for her mentor, Gary, who we learned was taken while searching for additional Hellstones by himself. Rookie mistake. Remember, These are 7 relics forged from Lucifer's wings that grant their users incredible abilities. One thing I immediately appreciate is that the issue opens up with action. The same way the first 3 seconds in a video are crucial moments to grab the audience, the first page of a comic is that for the readers. Which is why issue 0 is just such a sleeper move, because you get all the slow-paced backstory out of the way in a low-commitment fashion. That allows you to do what Frankie did. It almost feels like they understood exactly what the reader would be looking for. Issue 0 was, short, it was effective introduction to the world, the premise, and the motivation driving the plot. It was essentially him saying, hey, trust me, it'll pay off. Issue 1 rewards that trust. Without spoiling too much, the book uses a flashback at exactly the right moment. And it's a great example of why flashbacks can be effective storytelling tools. Sure, you can throw readers directly into an action scene, but eventually they're going to want to know how everyone got there and why the situation even matters. The flashback answers those questions without disrupting the pacing by putting them in times of rest. Moments like that show me that the writer and artist are paying attention to the reader experience. You know what I mean? They're thinking about where action belongs, where slower scenes belong, and how those moments work together. From where I'm standing, Sam comes across as incredibly resourceful. I think that's something that she learned from Gary. She knows how to call in favors, work connections, and use people around her to accomplish her goals. It actually reminds me a lot of my own character, Echo. Echo is a deaf teenager trapped inside a juvenile facility filled with some of the most dangerous people imaginable. Teenagers. In a place like that, survival depends on being resourceful and connected. Sam gives off that same energy, so she kind of feels like she grew up in a place like that. Overall, this issue feels like a strong step forward from issue 0. The opening action sequence is an effective way to start the story. Moving forward, I'm excited to learn more about the Hellstones themselves. It may still be a little bit early, but I'd love to see a deeper exploration of just how dangerous these relics are or can be in the wrong hands. The foundation is there. Now I'm interested in seeing how the mythology expands and how the writing evolves as the series continues. Comment below if you'd like your comic reviewed by me, and if you'd like to support the channel in any way, head over to Kontact Comics and check out my 2 comic series currently available, Fusion and Echo.